Hi, you're watching Avenue X. In this video, I want to talk about a recently finished airing Chinese drama, plus very briefly at the end of the video, talking about a couple of other projects that have recently aired or finished airing that I have brief opinions on, but I don't really want to make them into an individual video because really there's no need. So the drama I want to mainly talk about is a short drama, 16 episodes, that has recently finished airing on the platform Tencent, called 宗眼之谜, Blemish Flaw. When this drama aired, I immediately talked in my weekly video about I really liked how it started and I have high hopes for it. Now the drama has finished airing. Very unfortunately, the ending kind of doesn't quite satisfy your expectation. It is not necessarily completely a crash, but it's a very forced ending that doesn't arrive at the conclusion naturally, and you can very much argue with its logic. It still has a lot of good things it has done, and to an extent better than many other dramas I've seen this year. So I want to still give it a chance and introduce that to people who may have not heard about it. Given this is a suspense drama, it is about a case. So at some point there will be spoiler. I will warn you and you can decide whether you want to hear that section. One thing that's interesting about this drama is it is made by the same company that has made Ultimate Note, also Heroes from last year that I really liked. They actually wrapped shooting at the end of last year, 2024, so it took almost a whole year for its post-production and censorship to go through. Let's first very briefly tell you what the story is. This is a very straight to the point suspense drama. This is set in a contemporary whatever city in China, but obviously it's shot in somewhere for real, mostly in Chengdu, the Sichuan area, as you will hear a lot of dialect of that region. Our main lead character is played by Qin Junjie. He is our perspective character, like me, Chinese YouTuber, and he has a channel that is talking about real cases that happens in real life, and he's a detective story fan. One day, he realized an ex-girlfriend that he hasn't been in contact for almost a year seems to have disappeared. And because she broke up with him in a very sort of cold and sudden way, he wants to find out exactly what happened. With this delayed attempt to find this missing ex-girlfriend, he started his investigation. Along the way, he would meet multiple characters, including a policeman he eventually convinced to work with him, played by Peng Hanchen, who was also in Heroes drama. The ex-girlfriend is played by Fu Jing, who was also in the Heroes drama. One of the most important characters he encountered on his journey is this very pretty but disabled lady on a wheelchair who is an heiress of a lot of fortune. She is also in Heroes, and she was the official coupling character for Qin Junjie's character in the drama. On separate occasions, he was also investigating a guy who is a very successful porcelain and ceramic artist at a university, and this guy happens to be this disabled lady's husband, and it seems there's a lot of weird things going on with their marriage. So this investigation keeps pushing forward and digging out more skeletons of characters of their past. At the end of the episode 16, you'll find out exactly what happens to every character and who's doing what. So this is a very classic starting at one point and following the thread and breadcrumbs, peeling the onions step by step, very incrementally moving forward towards the final big case explosion of some kind of things happening in the suspense drama. And I don't think I've spoiled that for you. It's just the structure of it. Exactly who is who and who did what. You'll go and watch drama yourself. Let's first talk about what's great about this drama. Point number one, very good casting, very solid performance. There's no traffic actors in this drama. There's no, I am, the center of the stage, I'm the big idol, kiss my ass, everyone kind of thing going on in this drama. Everyone is their character, and they're actually being picked very, very well. Just the way the people look even and talk and present themselves almost instantly give you a very accurate profiling of who they are. The audiences doesn't need to be convinced that, this is really that kind of person. You just look at them and you're like, yeah, perfect casting. Okay, keep going. I admit one big reason for me to jump into it is because it repeats most of the cast of Heroes, and I really like that drama, so I jumped into this one, and I'm very satisfied with, for example, Qin Junjie leading the drama. He's just a really solid, good actor. The most surprising person would be Wang Duo, because he also has been around for a long time, but he was mostly in period idol dramas, those long hair, godlike, living in the ice cold mountain, having magic power, and a lot of makeup. Doesn't look like a normal human. And this time, he's actually playing a real life person. I don't want to spoil the drama. I really highly recommend you going and check out and see what kind of dramatically interesting guy he plays. And this is not an easy to play character. I was very surprised by actually how good he could be in the proper realism drama, where he's no longer an immortal, has magic power or whatever. He's just a guy who has a lot of flaws. Very surprised and very much enjoying his performance. And from this point onwards, I would definitely look at this actor in a very different way than I previously viewed him, which I think is a great thing. Also, didn't expect Zhang Mingyuan would suddenly show up. He kind of had a semi-house collapse a few years ago, and he plays a completely different from his previous, mostly more like a traffic and idol actor image character in this drama. Totally 180-degree opposite. And I didn't even recognize him the first couple of shots, and then I realized, holy shit, it's Zhang Mingyuan. He actually also did a very good performance. Often you can see a little bit too much effort, but I think it's a great breakthrough compared to everything he's done before. The only problem that's often like nagging me when he's on screen would be he fakes an accent throughout this drama. That's supposedly to be the Chuanyu, which is where I come from, region accent, because that's where the story is set. Yet his accent is all over the place. And you know, he's trying to imitate the imagined Sichuan accent, but he really hasn't lived in the region probably long enough or have been trained long enough to hear it. So in his line delivery, it's funny. International audiences, that would not be a problem. It would not affect you, but it will affect me. And I often kind of got like taken out of the story by his really awkward accent. But then I am surprised that he is willing to take on such a different character. Kind of shows at least this guy has some intention of going down the route as being a proper actor. Whether this is gonna lead to any result, maybe too early to say, but it's great to see people taking steps forward. So I've said a lot about the acting, but basically, I mean, one of the greatest things about this drama is really the main cast acting and the casting choices for them to be the characters. It's like really well picked. Second, the greatest thing about this drama is it is storytelling focused from the first shot till the last. Even when you have problems probably later in the story with certain plot that got written and played out, you can't deny that this is a very classic way of telling a suspense story. It's like the olden days of watching episodes of Japanese detective anime. I like one more thing about that is because this is from the lead character's perspective. He is a content creator. When he first approaches the police, you expect, right, there will be a lot of discrimination against him. You're just an amateur, we're a professional, right? And you are expecting, classically in the drama, the policeman would actually become a force of obstacle, would actually stop our mainly from investigating instead of helping. But I really like the fact that in this drama, Pang Hanchen's character is actually a really nice character. He's not as unbearable as his character in Tianxingjian, although he's a proper policeman and he would have his reasonable doubt about anything. As long as the facts and the reasoning really make sense, when he hears the opinions from our male lead, he will very quickly say, okay, that makes sense. Because that makes sense, I'll help you investigate. There's no ego of I'm professional, you're amateur, therefore I don't care about what you think, you're stupid. I really appreciate that point because I know often in dramas they don't do it that way. And also I appreciate the fact that whether it's the male lead, the policeman, the disabled lady, the ceramic professor, all those people, and later you'll meet a couple of other characters, they're actually all very, very clever. There's always, you know, the danger of actually writing the bad people as dumb to make it easy for good guys. In this story, nobody is dumb. Everybody is actually really clever, and there's a lot of people actually trapping other people into their plan, and I like that. You know, I like everybody to be on the equal plane of like being clever. That's the only way you can make the story exciting. Otherwise, it's kind of like not earned. If you jump into this drama, the first 6 to 8 episodes probably will very quickly consume it in one go. At least that's what happens to most of my friends when I tell them go and watch this drama. So at least the first half to the first 75% of the story It's like really properly done suspense story. But if you want to know why I have a huge problem with this drama and why I wouldn't say it's a very successful suspense drama, then you have to hear this part of my video, which is a spoiler. If you do not want to hear that, you can jump to this time code. The not so great thing about this drama, and the thing that failed it for me ultimately as a suspense drama, and you know why I put it on the negative end as a spoiler, is the last bit. At some point of the story, and before the last big twist gets played out, it will hint and lead to the next big plot, which clearly shows that initially you think a person as a victim in this drama, as she is the disabled lady in a wheelchair. And you realize actually everything is her plan from the beginning. When I see that, I'm like, okay, because you're suggesting she is actually the planner of the big thing. Therefore, this is the only way you can go with the plot and explaining what happened in the past, how she did it, or why she did it. And that inevitably would mean certain plot would have to happen that way, which at that point I already see this probably is a problem for the story, because it is an extremely unlikely to get executed in reality plan that you're gonna have to force it to happen. When we meet her for the first time, she's already disabled for close to a year. She had a car accident just after the time that the ex of our male lead's character went missing. And the whole story is being set up as she is the victim of domestic violence of the husband, and also her money got pretty much like all taken by the husband, and the husband now wants to get rid of her, so he's planning to kill her, and our male lead character is trying to save her. And then at that point you realize, no, actually the whole car accident probably is also set up by herself. And she's doing this whole thing to trap the husband because the husband betrayed her, and she knows and she wants a revenge. She actually plans to kill him in a way as self-defense so that she can walk away with self-defense and she can get rid of the husband and not losing even 1 penny of the money because he doesn't deserve that. Like, that's her plan. But the problem with that is to get her plan actually executed in real life, she basically has to pretend to be a disabled person for close to a year while she sets up everything else. Towards the very end of the drama, the last episode, when she explained to our male lead, because our male lead saw through the whole thing when other people didn't, she has to explain what she did. And I know that scene is coming because you have to do it, but I know it's not going to be convincing. Basically, during the whole year when she's pretending she's in a wheelchair, she actually secretly does a lot of exercises when people are not looking. She runs 10 kilometers at night, nobody's watching her. You are talking about in contemporary China, a big metropolis. You live in a 小区. It's not like in the house in the mountain where there's no neighbors. You live in China where every step you walk out into the public space, there are like 10 cameras watching you from all angles. You tell me you can pull that off for a whole year. When you are going out at night, do running like 10 kilometers, you're gonna be long discovered by the neighbors, by the 保安, the security of your 小区, by all the random people who just happens to know who you are, or just like they caught you on camera. Not to mention the eventual murder, quotation mark, that she sets up as she will be murdered by him and she self-defense and kill him instead, needs to be helped by her father, who would come into the hotel disguised and not being caught by any camera in China, unless you control police station and satellite and all the cameras in a region, which in this case, in this drama, not the case at all. There's no possibility of that ever actually getting carried out. Maybe 20 years ago, it's possible to get done in China. Now, in 2020s, it's harder to do that than send people into space. I know it's coming because when the drama gave me that she is actually the master plan person of the whole thing at the end of, I think, like, whether it's 11, 12, I can't remember, but when they suggested she knows everything, I'm like, shit, that's where we're heading. No, I don't want that because I know it's going to be filled with holes. So it kind of killed the buzz for me like a few episodes before the final moment. I already know where it's kind of heading, and I was like, yeah, I'll just see you play it out. I mean, all the actors did a great job. I mean, Wang Duo's acting was like surprisingly good pretty much throughout the whole thing, but it's actually a really good drama up till that point where it no longer works in reality, because suspense and detective dramas are really hard to make and we don't have that many these days, and it's hard to see a couple of drama makers still want to make great things that are hard to do and probably wouldn't get them that much in return. Like a couple of companies you will notice in recent years, Linghe Chuanmei is one, Changxing Chuanmei is another, consistently put out good enough quality work, better than most of the other things. And they are also struggling, obviously, in today's unfortunate, really bad market and climate. So I still want to support this type of drama because it's so hard to come by. And if we end up with a situation where even this type of drama can no longer be made or nobody is interested in investing in them, then I don't know what to hope for Chinese drama then. Okay, so that should be everything I want to say about the drama 宗眼之谜 Blemish Flaw. Then before I go, since I'm already making a video, this is going to be a very quick word about 3 dramas. First is the Fight for Love has finished. I know what happened at the end. I kind of quickly jumped through all the rest of the episode, and it's like I said, really they probably should restructure the story and the episode account on different things at a different position. Right now it's just really weird and not ideal pacing, and at the end of the drama, the sort of final obstacle that our male lead and female lead has to battle through because of their social relationship as sister-in-law and the guy. It's not like something you should be filming in 2020s. It's so old-fashioned and boring. I mean, this setup could potentially be highly charging and interesting. Unfortunately, kind of missed all the important points to strike. Then, recently we've had 凤凰台上 Love and Crown, another 40 episodes period drama that airs on Youku, led by Peng Xiaoran and Ren Jialun. This drama, I watched 1 episode, and I can't wait to jump out and never click it open. Not only because it's very old-fashioned kind of like plot and the female lead hates the male lead's guts. In many ways you can think about Goodbye Princess #2, but not even like in any sense as well told as that one. The problem I see in this drama in the first episode that just literally kicked me out of the drama, I was like so shocked about how bad it is it's such an unprofessionally made drama, bafflingly weird on the most basic level of drama making. How the line dubbing doesn't fit in the mouth. The voice is acting emotion level or like whatever mood this person is in is irrelevant to the face of that person, to the point where there are multiple occasions when I actually thought the voice I heard that comes from OS, it's like somebody is narratively talking about something instead of the character speaking in the shot, because the emotion kind of completely mismatches. It's like watching some foreign movies that got dubbed, but by very bad dubber cannot sync up with the actual action of the performer on screen. I really haven't seen a worse voice dubbing situation of Chinese idol period drama compared to this one. This is the greatest worst dubbing drama I've ever seen. Another thing about this is its editing is the worst editing I've also seen. If you think the female general drama led by Zhou Ye and Chen Lei was like crazily edited for the first episode, watch this one. This one is even worse. The scenes and scenes have no connection. It's like often one scene ends and they actually move to a different place and different time and different whatever. And usually you need a little bit setup. Like give a wide shot of a view. Now we're at a river town. That is a mountain town. That is winter. This is summer. You have to set up a space and time. And then you go into like, oh, this is in the building, in the restaurant, somebody's doing something. No, it's like first scene finishes. And the next scene is completely irrelevant space, time to the first scene. And it cuts right into the middle of an action of something that's already going on. And you have no idea who the character is, what the people are doing. They're just already in the middle of it, and those two things have no connection between them at all. And this drama has been doing that for the first episode, like even within one scene of multiple people talking across each other. The editing point of different camera coverages is so bad. It's at such wrong breathing time of the lines spoken by the characters. It's all wrong. I really haven't seen editing this bad ever in anything I've ever watched. So that first episode is enough, and I haven't even talked about performance of the lead. Like it does not matter. Like the basics of being a drama of this drama is completely a piece of shit. To be honest, right, whoever's name gets attached to this as the final caller, let's say producer, if that's the person who eventually has to look at the whole thing and say, if this is a green light, we're gonna send it to censorship, put it out on publishing platform. If that's the producer, right? If I'm the producer of this drama, I'd be so embarrassed. I'd rather die than releasing this. I'd rather go bankrupt than releasing this. I do not want to tarnish my name, although probably nobody cares in this world. But I would think like when I die, people still can see this thing online and it's like made by me. I'd be so embarrassed that I climb out of hell and underworld and try to destroy this drama's existence on this plane. That's how bad it is. It can air in 2020s. Watching it for longer than an episode may cause permanent brain damage. Then the last thing is a recently just aired, hasn't finished, but will finish very soon because it's a really short drama. Why Is He Still Single? On Tencent, led by Zhu and Huo Jianhua, based on a Japanese drama. But basically, it's middle-aged people's love story in a really weird way. I'd say if you want a lot of jokes and comedy, you can watch this one. Because this drama is from the first moment to, at least so far I've watched, totally designed for very dry, sarcastic, fun, unforgiving commentary on human relationships in every way imaginable. The male lead is set up to be this person. The reason he's so successful yet nobody is interested in him at like mid-age is because he's impossible to get along with. He has such a poisonous mouth. He has no filter. So he just says those things that are cruelly true but absolutely offensive, and it's like being funny at the same time. So this is a highly funny drama, and almost every line is designed to make it really fun but brutal. I don't think you can ship too much. There's not that much chemistry going on, but it's just like for laughter. Linguistically slapping your face 24/7 drama. So these are the 3 things attached to the end of this video, unrelated to Blemish Flaw. But just because I've spent that much time watching, might as well just mention them. But also like they really don't need to be talked about individually anyway. I think eventually it turned out to be true that for November 2025, the only thing that probably is like that worth watching so far is still Strange Tales of Tang Dynasty 3rd season. And then 22 coming up, so a few days later we're gonna have Love on Turquoise Land, 迪丽热巴 and Chen Xinxu. Let's see if this one is gonna work. That should be the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Avenue X. I'll see you in my next video. Meanwhile, live long and happy drama watching.